Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
It's you and the senorita. Woofer blowing up the tweeter, cause it's me up in the speaker. Back in the mama seat, top down like a player. And the sound up in your ears, it is the dopest rhyme say. Running game like a cheater, I'm born like they're.
So the first day and night of the Republican National Convention is in the books. And this is not news to anybody at this stage in the game. People jumped all over it pretty much simultaneously as it happened. The first thing that I saw that brought it to my attention was our friend, comedian Steve Hofstetter, who took it upon himself to do a mashup of the two speeches. But here's the thing. Melania Trump was the keynote speaker at the RNC last night. And basically, the gig was this for her. A lot of people think of Donald Trump as being cold, callous, hard, and unfeeling, narcissistic, racist, and all of these things that make him unapproachable. Not exactly the cuddliest presidential nominee of all time. So the job for Melania was to soften the image of the Donald. Here's the thing. As you're no doubt at this stage of the game aware, a lot of people feel like she plagiarized a good hunk of Michelle Obama's 2008 speech. It was interesting. Melania Trump, main speaker at the RNC, looks like she stole her speech from Michelle Obama. All right, so let's have a listen here for a moment, Tito, shall we?
Barack and I were raised with so many of the same values. Like, you work hard for what you want in life.
My parents impressed on me the values that you work hard for what you want in life.
That your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do.
That your word is your bond, and you do what you say and keep your promise.
That you treat people with dignity and respect.
That you treat people with respect.
Because we want our children and all children in this nation to know that the only limit to the height of your achievements is the reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard for them.
Because we want our children in this nation to know that the only limit to your achievements is the strength of your dreams and your willingness to work for them.
All right. So, I mean, there's obviously more similarities and differences in that particular hunk of audio. And what's the official Trump campaign chairman line on this? Paul Manafort, the campaign chairman for Trump. He said these were common words and common values, and that she cares about her family. He also said she was speaking in front of 35 million people last night. She knew that to think that she would be cribbing Michelle Obama's words is crazy. Crazy, I tell you, to think that she willfully stole chunks of her speech. Now, did some hunting around the interwebs. And back in 2012, when I think Donald J. Trump was still identifying himself as a Democrat before he'd had that change of heart, he tweeted, let's see, when was it? 5th of September 2012. Very good speech by Michelle Obama, and under great pressure. Dems should be proud. And me being the thoughtful researcher that I am, I tweeted that out and left it to various random people on the internet to do my homework for me. And I was like, which Michelle Obama speech is he referencing? Anyone want to check dates? You're thinking what I'm thinking? And almost immediately, a slew of answers came back. And they're like, yeah, he was referencing the speech that a lot of people say that Michelle Obama made and that Melania plagiarized. Now, it seems as though Donald Trump back in 2012 was like, hey, that's a good speech for someone who is presidential. It's a good speech for someone it's a good speech for the wife of a president to give. I'm going to hold on to that one. Maybe I can use that somewhere in the future. And it seems, for all intents and purposes, that that's exactly what happened. Now, there's a lot of people that say this is a somewhat petty argument to get into, and that we've got much larger concerns than Melania Trump copying Michelle Obama's speech from back in the day. And I agree with them. But there's one reason why I take this intensely personally, and we'll get into why next.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
I do what I want, when I want, how I want. Every day you're going and working, running that rat race at that pace and that place will leave a bad taste for anyone, everyone working day after day. So buddy, I gotta say that you, there's gotta be a better way, yeah. And you do what they told ya, company man, feel it, a mindless little soldier. How can you live like that and maintain your composure before it's begun? Your life's already freaking over, yeah. I do what I want.
So Melania Trump was, of course, the main speaker at the RNC last night. Looks like she stole a big chunk of her speech from Michelle Obama's speech at the Democratic Convention in 2008. Here's another way to listen. If you're listening in stereo, Michelle is on the left channel and Melania's on the right.
Barack and I were raised with so many of the same values. Like,
we only get one side.
For what you want in life. That your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do. That you treat people with dignity and respect, even if you don't know them and even if you don't agree with them.
That you treat people with dignity and respect, even if...
All right, so like I said, there's more similarities and differences there. And if we're being fair, which we always try and be on this show, here's the thing. President Obama more or less did the same thing when he was running 8 years ago. He kind of lifted lines from a speech in 2008 that Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick gave back in 2006. But there's a reason why I take this personally. I got a tweet from a longtime listener, our boy Dave Kavetsky, who was like, "Come on, man, you're bigger than this. This is just a speech, and it's stolen. But is this really that big of a deal?" And maybe in the grand scheme of things, it is not. But to me, it is, and I'll tell you why. We're gonna light up Melania the same way we lit up Rand Paul and Ron Paul. Not so much Ron Paul. Do you remember this? Rand Paul, son of Ron Paul, Kentucky senator, libertarian wet dream for a little while, was busted for plagiarism. USA Today reported that after facing accusations of plagiarism in speeches, an article, and in one of his books, he said, I made a mistake. I didn't credit my sources. And he said that the footnote police were going after him. He also said that anybody that challenged him, he kind of wished he could challenge them to a duel, with pistolas in the streets at high noon. And he said he was the victim of haters. But here's the thing. What's the reasonable grown-up potential presidential nominee type of response when people notice that you're cutting and pasting your speeches from Wikipedia? Is it to say, gee whiz, I'm looking at being president, and besides an ass ton of campaign money, the things that are going to get me elected are my ideas, how I present them, and my strength of character, and maybe I should start coming up with some of my own stuff? No. He said, I take it as an insult. If dueling were legal in Kentucky, if they keep it up, it would be a dual challenge. But I can't do that because I can't hold office in Kentucky then. So, yeah, pistols at high noon was his suggestion when people called him out on copying the work of others. And we didn't let him go when he did that. And we're not going to let Melania go. For the following reason. And maybe I'm speaking to an awfully small portion of our listeners here, people that are creatives, people that come up with their own stuff, people that transform their ideas into something that you put down on paper or write on a blog or is published in a magazine article or a book or something of that nature, and make a living off of it. See, before I was doing radio like full time, I was a writer. But all right, I'm backing up. I was in a band, and my band lived the dream. There was like this massive bidding war over my band when I was a teenager. I came to America from England, where I grew up. I played 2 shows in New York, 1 show in LA, and the record industry lost its collective mind. Very unwisely. We were not good. But major labels threw more and more ridiculous offers at me for a month straight until I signed with a record label whose president, a guy who signed bands like Soundgarden and The Police and Sheryl Crow, looked me in my eye and said, "I'm not letting your album sell anything less than 10 million copies." I got to I got to kind of live the dream for a moment. I put out major label records. I toured the world. I had a grand old time. And at the end of it, I was like 23, 24 years old. I was a guy with a lot of tax debt because we got the biggest and best of everything. And that massive amount of money we got handed, well, that went away really quickly, paying for making records and paying employees and tour buses and tour bus drivers and things of that nature. But our accountant, because we got the biggest and best of everything, was also Bruce Springsteen's accountant. And he was too busy handling the boss's cash to pay our taxes one year. So wound up with no money and a lot of tax debt and a resume that said singer in a rock band. And I didn't even have a band anymore. And I had to do anything. You've all been there. I mean, unless you've led an incredibly fortunate life, you've been in a place in your life where you had a problem making ends meet, haven't you? And you know what that's like. We all know what that's like. And there comes a time where to not lose your home and your possessions, you're doing everything you can. Doesn't matter if there's dignity in it. Doesn't matter if it's your chosen career path. And I did anything. I worked in some warehouses. I did some work on roads. I delivered pizzas. I had one incredibly humbling moment. Where I delivered a pizza to the $1 million studio where I'd recorded my album. And that sucked. I DJ'd everything from swanky New York City clubs to the worst and cheesiest weddings and bar mitzvahs ever. I worked anywhere doing anything I could to not have to go on welfare and survive. And one of the things I started doing right as I was getting into radio was writing. And we'll get into why we're lighting Melania up over this next.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radio Land. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on, come on. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. Well, it's a new one. Here I come again, coming again, taking it back to the place where I'm picking up the pen. And before I started, it's already a killer. When you know that you're good, I gotta say that it's a thriller. Hey, I do it my way.
So if you're just joining us, Melania Trump's been accused of stealing large portions of her speech from one Michelle Obama gave back in 2008. A lot of people are saying, yeah, it's clearly lifted. Trump's campaign manager is like, no, these are common words and thoughts. And but you can mash these two speeches up and right down to the place where she takes thoughtful, pregnant pauses. It lines up pretty close. And a lot of people are saying, look, is this really the issue we want to pick on? No, it's not. I in the grand scheme of things, I don't think that it really affects stuff. You want to think like, hey, this should X her out of the whole situation. It should X Trump out of the whole situation. If this is built on appropriation of other people's work, if there's not original thought in there, if they're just finding stuff that they can say on the internet that's going to keep them alive for 10 more minutes to pander and cater to the people that believe in them, that are willing to stake their futures and the future of the country on them, and this is the type of smoke and mirrors this campaign is built on, the whole thing should be gone in 2 seconds. That's how a lot of people feel. But it's not going to happen. It will not slow the Trump train down. And the people that say, is this really the issue we want to focus on? I agree. There's not a ton of significance. Is it ridiculous? Is it plagiaristic? Is it something that could lead to something litigious? I think it is, but I don't think it's going to slow Trump down even a little bit. But for me, this is why it's important to me. And this is why it's important to people that are creators. And this is why it's important to people that turn their thoughts into ideas, into something that is printed or posted that makes them money. This is why it is really, 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 in a way that almost nothing else can do. This is why it is defecating all over the hard work of American people. People that are just trying to survive. People that are trying to turn their thoughts into a meager existence. Someone that's chosen to be a writer and then has a billionaire's wife come along and be like, I'll have that. That seems good. I'll use that to get where I'm going. Like I said, one of the things I started doing right as I was getting into radio, right after I was done being in a band, I'd done everything, including delivering pizzas once to the $1 Million studio where I'd recorded my album, and that was an incredibly humbling moment. But one of the things that I started doing as I was getting into radio was writing. I was asked by a magazine that was still under the impression that I was in some way musically relevant. I was asked to write a list of 10 songs that were important to me. And after I wrote that, they were like, hey, you know, your writing doesn't suck. Would you like an assignment? We can pay you $100 a page. And I was like, yes, freaking bazinga, yes. Does it involve delivering food to a group of my peers in an incredibly humiliating way? No? Good, then count me in. See, I was like, I can write a page standing on my head. This will be easy. Here's the thing, though. Writing is anything but easy. Writing is tough. And it's not so much the writing that's tough. You have to have an idea. You have to call your editor. You have to run it by them. You have to retool it for them to have it fit the publication's agenda. You have to research, then write, then credit your sources properly, then rewrite, get an interview, transcribe a half-hour interview onto paper, and try and make a guy like Nikki Sixx, God love him, who speaks in half-hour run-on sentences that make perfect sense in person. You have to make that somehow look correct when you type it out. Writing's hard work. There's a lot of heavy lifting and busy work that has nothing to do with actually sitting down and writing. Having an original idea is not something everyone can do, and even less people can articulate it from a concept in their mind to words on a piece of paper. A one-page article that made me $100 back in the day, if you broke it down, after taking out taxes, probably paid me about $5 an hour, which is one of the many reasons that I don't do it anymore. I love writing. And it's really gratifying to get a paycheck from a magazine that you can put into your bank and then use to pay the light bill. I think Stephen King, when he was talking to people that wanted to be writers, said, you know how when you can call yourself a writer? When you get a check, it doesn't bounce, and you can pay for stuff with it. Then you are a writer. And that's kind of a cool feeling. Hey, I am, in some way, shape, or form, a writer. I love writing. But the investment of time just doesn't justify the paycheck. For a while, it was all I did. I wrote for 3 different magazines, and I hustled as many articles as I possibly could. And maybe I could have turned it into more. But when I started getting more into radio, I had to let it go because there just weren't enough hours in the day. But I learned something. The bottom line is, if you're a writer, it is tough. You are working incredibly hard. You're working incredibly hard not only to write, but you're working incredibly hard because it's tough to pay your bills. It's tough to put food on the table. It's tough to pay for shelter and eat. And that's why if you look at my Facebook or Twitter pages, if I didn't come up with a status update, I'll credit it to the person that did. If I don't know who came up with it, I still won't try and pass it off like it's my own, so I put quotes around it and credit it to the internet. There is no greater slap in the face to someone who has created something original, who ekes out a living based on their thoughts and their creations, than when you see someone appropriate it as their own. And that is why people are justifiably, and remove this from the fact that we are in the tail end of an election cycle, that is why people are going after Melania so hard, because they are creators of content that are ripped off every single day. And when they catch someone doing it, they take it very personally, like our friend Steve Hofstetter, who's regularly had his jokes stolen from him. That's his living. You're taking food out of the mouths of his family when you do that, when Melania does stuff like that. And here's the thing. I don't think the blame falls with Melania. The buck stops at her because ultimately those words came out of her mouth. But I think somebody handed that to her. And somewhere, somebody is probably getting fired. I don't think it's going to slow Trump down at all. But someone in his campaign will be hunting for a new gig. There's no way the guy or girl in charge of running a paper could have a columnist who plagiarizes their work on the payroll. It's terrible for the integrity of a paper, and there would be a mutiny on the staff. There would be people going, hey, if this person's getting paid 3 times what I do to rip off other people's work after I've slaved for years to get to where I am, well, I believe I'll have to burn the building down. So yeah, that for me is where the Melanias of this world, people that would appropriate other people's work and pass it off as their own, that's where they smoke it for me. And yeah, I mean, what really does she wind up doing if she becomes the wife of the President of the United States of America? She's not the person being voted into office. And the issue is not one of, hey, what's worse? Deleting emails or copying your speeches from someone else. Totally separate by itself issue that has to do with trampling all over hardworking Americans that bust their ass every single day to get where they're going. Alrighty then. Let's take a look at the events of today in our segment, My Witness News. Super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhauser is back from vacation. And back from vacation. And our intern, Brandy Aniston, is in the house as well.
All together again.
Yes, I feel like the gang is back together.
I feel better now. It was really like weird without you guys for a whole week.
Yeah, now that we have to pay attention to the news and stuff, when we don't talk about it, it's like...
I feel like I have nobody to talk to, and then nobody on Twitter answers me because they expect me to be adult star-ish and not post things like normal people, and they don't want to respond like you guys do. So I feel like I had a loss in my life last week.
Wait, RNC can't stand for Republican National Convention. She's got to be meaning something else. Let me Google that.
Right?
It must be an abbreviation for something.
Exactly.
Do you find, so for those that don't know, Brandy is our intern. She goes to college. She studies radio. She wound up with an internship at Premiere, where this show is produced. And super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhauser, has taken her under his wing and is showing her the ropes of radio. But in your previous life, before you retired from it, you were an adult entertainment superstar. Do you find that there is a bit of a divide in what you're doing now on social media, Twitter, Facebook, stuff like that?
Very much so. I noticed that in my Instagram, and it's funny because I look at my level and numbers of followers as composed to the number of I guess likes that you get, and when I post a normal photo of me at radio, it gets absolutely nothing. If I post a booty shot, the numbers go through the moon. So I'm having that parallel of trying to find a way to bring the fans across with me, but still be, the adult star that they loved.
So. It's a thin line. And what you're probably going to wind up having is two different audiences. I would always think that there's the occasional listener that will follow me across every single radio station I'm on. I heard you on this, I heard you on that. I listened to you on Sirius XM back in the day, and I followed you over to iHeartRadio and terrestrial and blah, blah, blah. But most of the time, people sort of they'll discover you where you are, and they like you where you are. It just should be, people are creatures of habit and routine, and we're here to sort of brighten people's days, and a lot of the time folks will follow you over, but it'll be what is it they call it, the smart folks call it, a conversion rate. Your digital conversion rate tends to work out to be around 3%.
Nice.
I find, meaning if I tweet something, my piddly 20,000 followers, 3% of those may see it or like it. Thank you. Someone that's actually got followers can see. Thank you very much.
Oh, well, excellent. On the topic of social media, some interesting stuff went down over the weekend.
Oh,
I actually know this girl. Not personally, we're not friends or anything, but I had a hard time with this story because I felt like this is something we can all take a look at and say, ooh, we've all made a pass at somebody and shamed them in some way or another.
Soapbox time. Here we go. Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying,
What are you talking about?
So this girl posted a photo from LA Fitness. She was in the sauna. She posted on her Snapchat. Her name is Danny Mather. She was Playmate of the Year last year. She posted a photo of an unsuspecting, unknowing lady who was in the shower area changing. And she wasn't fat or anything, but Danny didn't think she had a great body. She posted it and said, if I can't unsee this, neither can you. I was honestly really, really taken back by this, thinking, I have a lot of social media followers. Do I say things to my friends that might not always be appropriate? Of course, because she did say that this was supposed to go to a friend and they were being, they were doing, secret making fun of this lady. But she ended up posting it on her main timeline, and this has gone like 30 million people, 30 million stories all over the world have seen this. Like, she had to delete all of her social media. It's bad. I checked the updates during the weekend, and every 2 minutes it would update with another hate message to her.
Well, there's it's incredible what can happen to you if you're not careful,
right.
and you just have to understand that the world that you're in. What was the woman? What was her name? I can't remember who. Hold on 1 second, because there was one woman, and I think she worked for a PR firm, and it
the
ruined
airline
her
lady?
life. The airline
What?
lady who said, like, I'm going to Africa. Hope I don't get AIDS. Ha ha. Just
BRB.
kidding.
Oh,
I'm white.
Oh yeah, that's
So
it.
before the day of in-flight Wi-Fi, she sends that tweet before taking off.
Oh my
lands at her
gosh.
destination, and her life is effectively over. She's lost her job. She's lost her career. She's been had her Twitter account pulled down. All this sort of stuff, and you got to recognize. You
Also,
got to
10,000
recognize.
jokes too. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. One has to recognize that we live in a different world. We act in a different space as members of the media now, and we are held to an unreasonably high standard a lot of the time. And you just, you could say it's wrong, but it's also the choppy waters that we're forced to navigate. So you can't deny it's there. You just gotta roll with it.
Give it a shot, you tried your best to suck without enough, so hang it up, just give it up. It's time somebody let you know that you will never be good enough. You will never be one of us. You will never be good enough. You know why? You're innocent, and you're going nowhere.
Now, more AD on the radio.
Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you my musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a party better than me. Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a party better than me.
So we are looking on this show for literally any way whatsoever that we can overcome the tremendous amounts of division we feel in this country. And we'll take it in any way we can get it. We will unite with people in whatever manner is possible. And for that reason, I come to you today with the three foods that Republicans and Democrats agree on. What are they? We'll get to it shortly after we finish rolling through what remains of the news. Brandy Anderson, take it away.
Sure. All right. All the Colorado delegates walked out of the Republican convention yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow.
All
They
the
were,
Colorado guys?
How many were there?
Yeah. I don't know. They just
All three.
Not so much as protests. They just heard that pot dealers were in the arena parking lot.
They're going to go find them. Ooh, Sarah Palin's son, Trek, is entering treatment for alcoholism.
Yeah.
At least he's getting help.
He developed a drinking problem when he realized his parents decided to name him Track. What the hell is the rationale behind? I mean, what do you? Is that a cute name? Do we like that? Do we think that's any good?
I'm not a fan at all. I mean,
there goes 3% of Twitter. Sorry, all guys named Track. There they go.
Yes. I hear people lately are really into naming their kids after Instagram filters.
Uh-huh. Is there a kid called Track?
Come here, Valencia.
Come to Papa, Crema.
Yeah.
It's true, though. I heard a story on some news channel that those are the most popular kids' names right now, are Instagram filter names. I don't know.
Instagram.
Are you going to name your future baby an Instagram name?
Depends on
I don't really pay attention to the names of the Instagram filters. No, I just I don't think of their actual given names. I just, think oh, here we go. One that makes me look like I have less zits. It's just I don't think I'm naming my kid one that makes me look like I have
You're going to have good skin. Here you go.
Come here, Lark.
Come here, Lark.
Get your brother Juno.
Lark and Juno.
Ludwig's on the phone for you. You going to hang out with your friend Amaro after school today?
Amaro's not bad.
Tell Hudson Valencia's looking for her.
I actually know someone called Hudson.
I do too.
What else, Fun Counselor?
Okay, over the weekend, Taylor Swift, Kim Kardashian. This was fun. I actually saw this on Snapchat. I don't know how long ago it was, but Kanye West they recorded Taylor Swift stating that she was okay with his song "Famous," referring to her in it, saying that he, they should still have sex. Yeah, that whole thing. So they said Kim Kardashian posted it on Snapchat, and it was basically Taylor okaying everything. And now Taylor's come back saying he never told me he was going to call me the B word. Kim posted it all over line, and then she had Selena Gomez going at it, and then all of the sisters were tweeting everyone all weekend. So it was kind of interesting Twitter drama with celebrities over the weekend.
It was one of those things that I just removed myself from. Right. I wasn't working. I didn't have to pay. I was working, but it was mostly music. And I was just my listeners really don't want to hear about Taylor Swift and Kanye West. And I am completely. This all stems from the "I'm gonna let you finish," but Beyonce had the greatest video of all time, right? This is we still haven't managed to put that one to bed successfully.
No, obviously they haven't. Well. Women are using Tinder to find men to do household chores.
Mm-hmm.
Not cool, dude.
I like this idea. Forget a boyfriend. I need a maid.
Well, isn't there a type of I think Talk 910 up in San Francisco, Corey and Joel,
bump,
who were on that station sometimes. I think they had it was sort of like a financial dominatrix, and really all she makes people guys go to her and give her money. You're going to give me your routing number and you're going to send me money, and they go, "Yes, mistress." It's there's all sorts of flavors of wanting to be dominated out there in this day and age, and I would imagine that you could probably use Tinder to find men or women to do household chores if you want to. It replaces the previous method women used to get men to do stuff with the empty promise of sex called marriage.
Well, this is interesting to me. Not that, but this is.
Moving right along. Some
recovered ISIS laptops contained about 80% pornography.
Uh-huh.
Good to know.
Yeah,
good to know I was keeping the people over there in ISIS occupied. It makes me feel great.
Yeah.
I mean,
Debbie does Damascus.
Oh, no.
Well, it's weird. The places where this stuff is the most repressed is where it happens the most. I can't remember. What was it? Afghanistan? It was some place where sexuality is actually illegal. It can get you stoned to death in the street, and they have the very, very highest consumption of gay pornography, according to Pornhub and places like that. This one country where being gay is actually illegal it's the highest level of consumption of gay pornography. Perhaps they're just watching it over and over again to remind themselves of what they hate so very much.
Don't be gay. Don't be gay. Don't be gay.
Yeah. Whatever you do, don't like this. I was testing myself. Good to know I passed with flying colors for the 10th time today.
Amazing. I heard this over the weekend, and I thought it was absolutely the most uncomfortable interview I've ever heard on the radio. Jenny McCarthy and Tara Reid got into a full-blown argument during McCarthy's radio show, and it was epic. It was absolutely epic. They just kept digging at each other, but it was in like a friendly way. It was great.
It was very passive-aggressive, bitch. Right. It was But Jenny McCarthy, Tara Reid got into a huge argument during McCarthy's radio show. The winner? Anyone who really, really, really wishes it was still 1996.
I love Jenny. I think she's great.
Babe, I said we were going to discuss it. Babe. When I get mad at you,
I wish we did. If we have the audio for that,
wait. Hold on.
Because this is good.
You got it? We got to go right now. Anyway.
This is the next story. Anyways, it relates to Tara.
We'll have to get to it next.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The Dumbing Up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
So, Tara Reid, star of Sharknado 4, was on Jenny McCarthy's radio show this past Friday, just gone by. It did not go well. They ended up having an argument, and Tara walked out. And because we tackle the big issues on the show, here's the audio.
Yeah.
People talked about your surgeries before. Are you still going through surgeries, or are you past them?
No, I haven't had any surgery for a while, Jenny.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you've been kind of open about it, because I hate when people, say, no, I've never done anything. And you've been kind of pretty open about things going wrong, but it's...
Why is she doing this to me?
Did you hear her?
Why?
Oh, okay, good. I thought you were talking to somebody else. So you look great now. So you're good and done not moving forward with plastic surgery.
I think I've made that clear like about 100 times. I know.
I didn't hear that 100 times. I'm so sorry.
Maybe you only read the bad things, but I've been made that really clear so many years. But
so does it
read what you want to read? But I think it was really nice talking to you, and really good luck with your show. And
good luck to you
awesome.
too. And I'm so excited about Sharknado, and I hope you stay married. And I hope that
you stay married too. Sure
I will, and I hope your knees get a little wobblier than they already are. So
think
have
my
a good
knees.
day.
Oh yeah, I hope your nicer get even nicer because they're amazing. Same guy did mine, right?
Thank you. Yes,
fantastic.
Yes, same guy.
I'll always use your advice. You're the best.
Love you, Tara. Good luck with Sharknado 18.
Good luck with Sharknado 18. Jenny won that argument. I don't care.
I know what the sound of headphones being thrown at something sounds like. For those of you that don't know, that's the last sound you hear there. Headphones.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Okay. Go on. More news. Well, hold on. How much time do we have left, Funkhouse? Are we going to talk about
we're
going to unite the left and the right over food yet?
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes? All right, let's do some more news.
Okay, wealthy families in Sri Lanka are keeping elephants as pets. Mm-hmm. I don't know where they're keeping them.
I don't like that.
Is there like a garage they park them in, or backyard?
I don't know. Yeah. Kind of sort of like Trump did Chris Christie for the last couple of months. Mm-hmm. It's funny because he's large. Go on.
Dozens of dead sharks washed up on an Alabama beach this week.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
It is. It's sad, and people can't figure out why.
Yeah, I want to know why.
Experts aren't overly sure of what is causing this, and it's strange, and it's sad, and it's extra weird when you think about it, because these sharks are washing up on beaches in Alabama, and it's unusual that creatures with so many teeth die in front of people with so few. Go on, what else?
Well, if you don't want to take that pizza gig again, Starbucks is giving all of its U.S. employees at least a 5% raise this fall. So, I mean, there's always Starbucks.
Yeah, it's why Scott Baio could afford to take the time off and go speak at the Republican National Convention.
Oh, no.
Foamier, Scott Baio. I want my latte foamier.
I said Americano.
You know, I saw like a little while ago, I will never make fun of a Starbucks. I will never make fun of a coffee maker ever again, ever. Because like I'm in a bookstore. I'll never make fun of a barista ever again, ever. I'm in like a bookstore purchasing something. I decide I would like to have a cup of coffee, and I'm standing in line waiting for sort of my opportunity to place my order for my delicious foamy latte, and this guy barges up next to me. He just picked up his drink from the other side, and he was like, hey. I said no whipped. I was just like, oh my God. And he was upset because he had whipped cream on his hot cocoa. And that is exactly, like, there's no artistic license involved there. That is exactly how he spoke to the person that had thoughtfully made his coffee. I was just like, so rude. So rude. The public is so rude.
Come on, I already apologized for that over and over again. I was having a bad day. I said Americano.
Hot chocolate it is. The UFC sold for $4 billion.
Yeah.
Go Dana White.
Yeah, that's a little bananas.
Right?
Billion with a B.
Billion.
Yeah. Yep. Which is roughly $1 for every roided up jerk that I've ever met in a bar wearing an Affliction t-shirt that gets surprised when he's choked out by a bouncer who's like, these rules don't count here. I was in a bar a little while ago. Like UFC, I have so much respect for the people that UFC is kind of like Fall Out Boy. I really kind of respect their music, and I realized the thing that left a lousy taste in my mouth with regard to Fall Out Boy was more their fans. The kids that wanted to sharpen up their haircuts and come after me every single time I didn't play one of their records on the radio while they were having their little moment. I was like, it wasn't the band that I found to be so utterly detestable. It was the people that surrounded it. And it's the same with... It's the same with the people that follow the UFC. It's just like, just because you watch it on TV doesn't mean you can ultimately fight me. This will end badly for you. I've had this happen numerous times where some guy in a tap-out shirt tries and it doesn't go well. And it's funny because like I saw, there's this one night that I hosted out in Houston every single Sunday for the longest time, and this guy, this sort of like this roided up dude comes in talking tough and gets asked politely to leave because he was causing problems. And he's like, let's go right now. And the bouncer just sort of thoughtfully put him in a sleeper hold and took him to the ground without even thinking about it. And it was so funny because it was after this guy went into his perceived UFC stance or whatever the hell this guy thought he was doing. He was clearly not doing it very well, or maybe he was too drunk to do it well. But the guy got taken to the floor almost immediately. And my bouncer buddy put him to sleep. And as he's putting him to sleep, the guy was tapping on the floor. He was like, you don't get, no. When you take on a bouncer at a bar, you do not get the opportunity to tap out. This isn't like TV. Sorry. Let's draw a clear line of distinction between television and real life here and say what you're thinking applies does not apply to this situation. So there you go. All righty then. Let's unite the left and the right over delicious, delicious food. Folks over at Grubhub.com, they looked at 187 different congressional districts that lean heavily liberal or heavily conservative, and they figured out which foods Democrats order more than Republicans and vice versa. Now, usually these lists are pretty stupid and meaningless because they're either completely arbitrary or they are 100 million % stereotypical. But this one is interesting. The foods on it actually surprised me, and the thing that I really like about it, they figured out which bipartisan foods are actually uniting the country. All right. If you had to guess, Funkhauser, Brandy, what are some foods that Republicans order more than Democrats?
Steak.
Yeah. Rare.
Yeah. Some meat product, I would think.
Yeah. Chicken. Fish.
No, chicken and fish, I would think, are Democrat.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why.
Well, the 10 foods Republicans order the most of. You ready for this? Sweet and sour chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Cannolis. Oh. So, like, do you know what a cannoli is,
I
Funkhauser?
do. I love them.
I think so.
Okay, see, like they're a very, very East Coast thing, and they're delicious and they're Italian. And I've only ever really seen the real ones for sale at Italian bakeries. There's a ton of those in New York, almost none of them in California. But it's like this delicious. Oh God, it's so good.
I'm going to add that to my New England list because I'm going next month.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Find yourself an Italian bakery and get a cannoli. It's like this sort of delicious cookie-esque shell with what is it, Brandy? Is it like mascarpone cheese?
It's some sort of a cheese, and then it's rolled up in like that.
But it's weird because it's dessert cheese. It's not like it doesn't.
It's like a sweet cheese.
Yeah, it doesn't register as cheese when you eat it. It just registers as delicious. But
like a cream cheese.
So Republicans order more sweet and sour chicken, cannolis, brownies, egg rolls, boneless wings, lo mein, sesame chicken. Basically, Republicans eat a lot of Chinese food. Gyros, calzones, and mozzarella sticks. Lots of classics, not all that healthy.
Hardtack.
So a lot of Italian European foods, right?
A lot of Chinese food, Italian food, Greek food, almost nothing that you would see. I guess what was your first guess? Steak and potatoes. That's what yeah, exactly. That's what you think. Like a burger without salad on it, just cheese, bacon, burger.
Right.
It doesn't even register. What about what do Democrats eat?
Now I'm super confused.
You guys want to take some guesses?
I'm going to say salads, pastas,
barbecue. I think we were wrong in the beginning. I think they're going to be the ones that eat the protein.
Yeah.
A lot of protein, a lot of grain.
A lot of protein, a lot of grain.
Maybe fruits, veggies, I don't know.
Because it's funny because I think you would imagine that a hipster, it probably leans left. You know, you picture an Austin or a Brooklyn hipster type. And what do those guys do? They mainline bacon because it's cool, because BuzzFeed told them it's cool, or because some blog told them it's cool. And so I think that based on the Republicans eating sort of like lots of Chinese food and Italian, you would imagine for a second that maybe the opposite is true. They're going to be eating lots of barbecue and bacon and things of that nature. Here's the thing. Top 10 foods for Democrats. Curry.
Ooh.
In at number 1. Veggie burgers, spring rolls.
There it is.
Guacamole.
Yeah.
Yep. Guacamole. Pancakes.
I was going to say donuts.
Pancakes.
Yeah. Burritos, turkey burgers, fried rice, avocado salads.
Ooh.
So
this list seems to be slanted as to like what you can order in the conference room at the hotel Holiday Inn that you're having.
I don't know. It's a lot of stuff. You know what I noticed about the Democratic list? When you look at this stuff, like the veggie burgers and the avocado salads, and a lot of this stuff is food that you couldn't necessarily order a year ago or 2 years ago or a decade ago. It's progressive thinking food, I suppose, is what you'd call it. Now then,
Obama.
What foods unite the country? What foods can we all agree upon?
Ooh,
Brothers and sisters,
pizza.
Hot dogs, hamburgers, pizza.
Donuts.
All of these things are good. And sushi is on the list, which is an interesting one because it's not hot dogs, pizza, hamburgers. Spicy salmon rolls. That's what we can all agree on. But have you ever had a spicy salmon roll?
I could agree on that.
Not a fan.
It's delicious. Not a fan.
Ooh.
Really?
I like other stuff at sushi.
You and your libertarian palate just negated our whole study.
Hippie.
Bacon cheeseburgers. Yes, we can all coalesce and agree upon bacon cheeseburgers. Can we have appropriately American music here, Funkhauser?
I can give you Canada.
Not the same.
No.
Not close.
Shrimp and broccoli. Okay. Shrimp and broccoli. In addition to the spicy salmon rolls, spicy tuna rolls also made the list. Delicious lemon chicken.
Ooh,
you a fan of lemon chicken?
Yes.
Is lemon chicken like Ray Romano's wife always used to make him lemon chicken, and that was like she was Italian. This is supposed to be Italian food, but lemon chicken that I've had has always been Chinese food.
Really?
Yeah.
I've had lemon.
I do it with Greek food, to be honest.
Oh,
it's always Greek.
I like Greek food I like lemon on everything.
I
like
do
a buddy
too.
of mine. A buddy of mine is Venezuelan, and I went over to his mom's house for dinner once, and she cooked, and everything had lemon squeezed on it. And I thought, like, lemon in the salad? That does... Oh, my,
So
that is
good.
delicious.
Now that we're all
the
hungry.
the three things that we can agree upon, America, are burgers, Chinese food, and sushi. God bless every one of us. It's time to go to lunch. Thank you so much for hanging. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it all over again.